of education, which I feel personally is a major contributor to the problem that we have right now within our country. I don't believe you can have a Trump administration if you have an educated population. Right? I think those two things are an oxymoron. I believe 99.9% of all the problems that we have in our country track back to two things. I hope this come off in a way that I mean it, but ignorance and corruption. Any problem that you have with your government right now will either be traced back to somebody being paid to lie to you or you not being smart enough to know the lie.
Right.
That's how we end up getting caught up at these ballot boxes. And I know it's not always easy to make this point or to ask for mercy for even some of our MAGA voting companions, but all of us have been lied to, especially those of us who grew up in a deep red state like Louisiana, where we see a lot of propaganda being peddled to us. If we get the right information out, if we reinvest in our schools where people understand history, where people understand civics, right? If you understand history, anytime you see a president running a political retribution campaign, you understand where that's coming from. That has literally never led to a good thing in democracy. If you understand civics, when you have a president that's telling people tariffs are only paid by foreign countries, you can't vote for them, right? Right? When you see a president send out a message on Truth Social, which is probably the biggest lie on the website ever. When you see a president send out a message to his AG to prosecute somebody, if you understand civics, you can't support him at this stage. So these are the things that we have. The ball is in our court as far as who we can vote in to make our country better. I think we have to be looking towards candidates that want things like money out of politics. Because once again, I think that is a major contributor that probably ties to the vast majority of the things that harm us on a day-to-day. The fact that first and foremost, in Louisiana, how do you say it? In Louisiana, we have so many different things: oil, sugar, salt. We have tourism. We have multiple universities. We have LSU and Baton Rouge, and for some reason that money don't trickle down to the bottom. It's because of corruption.
Right.
We have things like the ITEP, which is the Industrial Tax Exemption Program, which allows companies to come down to Louisiana and get an 80% exemption for, I believe it's somewhere around 10 years. That's money that should be going out to school, that should be going to filling up some of these damn potholes that eat your kids, that should be going to changing some of these pipes. 6 out of 10 houses in Orleans Parish have lead in it. We have the money to fix it, but it's not doing it. Why? Because the people who are legislating are being paid to hide that. As a state and as a country, we make too much, we have too much for people who live in these conditions. We should have things like universal health care. That's a no-brainer. We should have things like paid parental leave. That's a no-brainer. We should have things like high-speed rail, right?
Right.
It's so many different things our money could be going towards when you have a president like Donald Trump that steps in front of oil companies and say, pay my way back into the White House, I'll do whatever you want. That's how we end up going into Venezuela. Instead of going into Cancer Alley and doing things that we can do to make life livable for people out there, right? These are the things that I want us to be focused on. The things that we want to have changed past 2028. Like, I personally am very passionate about making sure we bring accountability back in the government. I am very passionate about everybody that had something to do with this going to jail. As much as Governor Jeff Landry loves to talk about all the space in Angola, I think it's more than enough space for everybody in the MAGA cabinet. That's what I'm doing. I think if you did one of these mergers or some kind of other deal with the Trump administration, if you traded a penny with the Trump administration in this administration, you should be investigated. 2029, January 20th. Somebody should be knocking on your door. So I want us to be ready and energized to go out there and vote in the people that's willing to do these things. This is the opportunity ahead of us, starting with the midterms and all the way up to 2028 and beyond. It starts with the same thing that Ms. Sunny was talking about. Going out, talking to your friends, educating the people that's willing to listen. I understand sometimes it's an uncomfortable scenario, but it's a lot of other people that's going through uncomfortable scenarios right now. They don't have a job. They got laid off. And they have to explain to their family how they're going to make do with less. Or maybe they have a special needs student, and the WWE wrestler that's over the Department of Education is now splitting up the department that helps special needs students. Right? Maybe they're having a child that just got a case of whooping cough, something that we had defeated before. And they have to have that conversation with the doctor about why the infant won't stop coughing. So in order for us to stop that and make sure that we rebuild a country in the image that we want it to be in the future, it starts with voting.
Yes.
In every vote, not just federal, state, ballot initiatives. We didn't already show you Atlanta. But yeah, that's the basics of what I wanted to say to everybody. Make sure we understand what this opportunity is. It's rough, and I'm not gonna tell you nothing different. And take your time to breathe whenever you need it. But when it comes down to the opportunity to vote for something different, it is the only thing that's gonna change what's going on in this country. Making sure we get in more people that understand that women should be able to be in positions of leadership. Right? I personally think if you throw a rock and get a random female officer in the military, she'll do a better job than the alcoholic that we did with.
Yeah, you're right.
I personally think it should be okay for you to speak a native language if it's different from English in Walmart without being harassed by a terroristic ISIS.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Woo.
And more than anything, I believe in the future, and I'm gonna be honest, this might be a little bit brutal, maybe I'm an extreme Antifa guy, but I personally think the Republican Party has shown us they do no good for our country. No good whatsoever. This is a terroristic, fascistic, misogynistic, bigoted administration.
Yeah.
And it's not fit for America. I need you to understand everything you're going through can be stopped by either the House or the Senate, both of which are ran by Republicans, and neither of which is putting up a fight on it.
Nope.
These are people that I consider traitors. If you allowed us to go into a war in Iraq and have 13 of our people die, over 400 of our people injured, have the world economy come to a halt. I need y'all to understand, even though we usually talk a lot about the fuel shortages, out of the Strait of Hormuz, we also have somewhere around 30% of the world's fertilizer. Yeah. We also have a lot of the helium that go into the medical industry. That's being stopped out there too. We're gonna have worldwide famine. Another thing that we're gonna have coming out of this is a very hostile international setup for America when we come out.
Yeah.
So we also need to be focused on voting people in that can sit across the table and have those difficult conversations with diplomats from other countries and say, yes, we were wrong, this is how we want to make this right. Canada, you are not the 51st state. You are our greatest neighbor. You are one of our greatest allies, and we love you. Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum is out there doing God's work. Amen. And I would love to continue on being one of the bestest of friends for Mexico, right? So we're gonna need people that can get into Congress, make up the legislation, come up with the negotiations that we have to do to make sure we retain all of our allies. Because the nuclearization that's gonna come out of this administration in the world is going to be staggering. If you're any other country looking at what we're doing in Iran, you understand one very simple thing. If I don't have nuclear weapons, America can team up with somebody and attack me.
Yep.
That's going to make a very, very dangerous space for us to be in. So we're going to need people, not war hawks like Lindsey Graham that's going back to South Carolina to ask people for their daughters and sons. I really hope he gets a shot. Oh, yeah. But yeah, we're going to need people that can really talk to other countries, whether it be our allies, whether it be our enemies, Iran coming out of this. We're going to need people that can negotiate with them too. But, just to kind of put it here, but these are some of the things that come to my mind as far as why our vote is so important. This is not a time to sit out. I personally believe this is a time where we're supposed to put our foot on the gas. Donald Trump and his administration is killing itself. You got Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones mad at Trump. We have flipped over 30 seats from red to blue. They have flipped 0 from blue to red. We have triple Trump doping Republicans out there in Texas saying, you know what, they put this data center around my house. I hear buzzing all day. I have sediment in my water, and it has lowered my property value on voting tolerance. Mm-hmm. Anytime your enemy in a voting scenario, anytime your enemy is asking for you, we should turn out. I think this should be the time that we talking to our neighbors, having these conversations. I think even representatives. In the coming elections, big things are going to be won by footwork on the ground. Conversations like what we have in here. Sharing what I know with you and having your questions come back and I give you answers. I personally think that's the direction we should be going in as a party, with our representatives, with us ourselves and our neighbors and everything else in between. So yeah, get ready to vote in the midterm and for everything else after that, because in 2029 we have the opportunity to get the America that we deserve. Thank you.